What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new Niche Ball video. Today, me and Lewis and Casey and me doing our Premier League 11, but with a twist. We're going to have only allowed one player from each team, So we're going to try and make our best team with those rules. So, Casey, go for your defense for us.
All right, in goal. So basically, before I explain my 11, I gone for it. So I'm going the best players in some position. I'm just gonna go straight up and play it. So in goal, I've gone with Alisson because no matter how the team is, and we might be poor in some positions, but if you got the best goalkeeper in the league, I think you're pretty good. And at left back, I got Robinson from Fulham, which was obviously a shout in the last video. And then my centre backs, just let me cook here: Saliba and Van der Ven, and my right back is Hinchelwood from Brighton. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like Saliba Van der Ven. Maybe I like it so much that it might
That
be
is an
mine.
unreal duo.
But
Yeah, I'm not going to speak for certain reasons. So.
but yeah, no, obviously the Fulham with Robinson's a good one because when you sort of get through those teams and then you're looking at the lowly sides and you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, no, that's a good.
Nah,
defense.
Hinchelwood is some shout for me.
Oh yeah, no, he's decent. He's decent.
You know what? I should have put him in my last team because when people talk about the most underrated youngsters or youngsters in the league, Hinchelwood's never spoken about. I think he's a really good player.
He is,
Every single time I watched him, he's a bit like a Lewis Miley. He's so composed and good for his age. It seems a bit weird. He just turned 18 or something like that. He's been so good for Brighton and literally took that right back position off Lamptey and Milner. So that just shows how good he's been.
Could you imagine Saliba and Van der Ven as a partnership? Oh my,
that is on they suit each other well, together well.
Yeah. Sounds I'm fine with that defense. That defense.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yep.
Right. All right, Lewis, what about your team?
So for my goalkeeper, I've gone with Emiliano Martinez of Aston Villa. I just think he made one of the most clutch saves in world football. And I think his rise after Leno's injury at Arsenal it's just been excellent. Don't get us wrong. I think he might be slightly overrated, but he's still definitely a good enough keeper to make this list. And he does love a good dance around his box. For my left back, I've gone with Anthony Robinson as well of Fulham. I sort of covered it in the last video. As Casey said, we spoke about it. He is, most interceptions in the Premier League. He's really good, really fast. He's good defensively despite being quite nimble. So my two centre backs, I've gone with Mickey Van der Ven and William Saliba.
That copied me.
Yep. I just think it's self-explanatory, really. Two very similar centre-backs, and I think if they were to play alongside each other, it would be quite scary, especially considering they are both young. And then for my right back, this might be slightly controversial, but I've gone with Reece James of Chelsea. I think when he stays fit, he is excellent and arguably England's best right full-back. Yes, I said that. When he is fully fit and on top of his game, I genuinely believe he is up there as England's best right full-back. He can defend, he can go forward. He might not be world class at both, but he's consistent at both. And that's the one thing that England lack. You've got Trent, who's excellent going forward. And you've got Kyle Walker, who's excellent defensively. Kieran Trippier is pretty similar, but obviously with Trippier being a lot older, I think Reece James could genuinely be England's best right back. So is there any thoughts on that?
It's a bold shout for James,
Probably me a little bit there, but...
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to say in it. It's kind of the same as Casey's because you're gonna have that because it's sort of best team. But yeah, James, I don't know. James is just how they talk about consistency with the injuries. Obviously.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's the big underlying factor is that he's consistent when he plays, but he's not played more than 3 games. He's not played more than 3 games in a row for Chelsea since January of 2023. Yeah. Which I think it does a lot. He's still young, and you don't want his career to be ruined by injuries, but. Before these injuries, there was definitely a player there.
Yeah, you can't doubt his class. You can't doubt his class.
Yeah, so I'll let you take us into your defence.
Well, for me, I've got goalkeeper Alisson because, as Casey said, you got the best keeper in the league. Then you just sort of mitigate the amount of goals you can see because the amount of there's something about his XG faces to how much he can seize is it's just amazing in terms of that sort of defensive side. So Mikalenko at left back. For me, last season you didn't hear much of him. This season he's sort of been on fire, you could say. Very good one-on-one defensively, and I was thinking about going for Branthwaite in defence. As I said in the last video, do quite like him, but I've had to copy you two, and I've gone for Saliba and Van der Ven. I think they just complement each other so well, And at right back, old faithful Kieran Trippier. I mean, got
Yes.
got a couple assists. I think it was against Luton, or we got a goal and assist. I can't remember, but yeah, he's just going forward. He's very good defensively. Can get found out sometimes, but yeah, that's my defence. Lads, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think that speaks for itself, really. Like we've discussed, pretty similar to what we've got. I like the Mikalenko shout. I think he's been
Same.
twice the player that he was last season. Last season, I think he was very poor, personally. But I think under the Sean Dyche Everton side, he's been excellent, and it's a valid shout.
Yeah.
Well, all I'm saying is that my Hinchwood shout is just unbelievable from him. That's just my ball is just top tier.
He's not gonna let it go. I didn't.
I'll go on to the midfield then, since you guys are done. So my CDM is Rodri, a bit like the Alisson shout. Like if the best player in the league is in that position, why would I not go for him? I think Rodri is gonna probably finish being an all-time Premier League great. I think he's that good, and yeah, I really like him. And then my centre mid is Ward-Prowse from West Ham. I think this season he's really shown that he's just thrives a lot in that centre mid position. He can run for miles. He's actually a pretty decent defender, and obviously, going forward, he's absolutely fantastic. So I think he would suit that centre mid role really well. And then my attacking midfielder, like previously said in the previous video, I've gone with Cunha. I said he was underrated. I felt like people haven't been talking about him. He scored a hat trick yesterday, and yeah, he's just not yesterday, on the weekend even. And yeah, I just think he's a top player, and I think when he first got put in that attacking midfielder position, I didn't think he was that great at it, but he's really going, really shining in it. He's a bit of like a false nine in a way. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for West Ham, I was wondering, who to use.
Yeah.
And it was between Ward-Prowse and Kudus. In the end, I didn't really go for either of them. But yeah, Ward-Prowse is a good shout. Obviously, Rodri. That's kind of
obviously.
Himself. Yeah. Cunha,
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I do like Cunha.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Casey, you definitely seem like the type of football manager who would rely on set pieces. So I think Ward-Prowse is definitely a valid shout for you and your personality. I think Rodri is.
My team's not built for that. With Hinchwood and Robertson as fullbacks, we are not a low block team, especially with Van der Ven as well.
But no, yeah, Rodri I think is obviously very valid. Rodri has shown this season with De Bruyne being out injured just how crucial he is in that midfield for Man City. I think he's still got the most passes in the Premier League this season as well. He just links up that play so well between defence and attack. And yeah, Cunha, I mean, as we're saying this, he's just scored a hat-trick last time out, and he has been excellent for Wolves this season, so there's no real complaints there, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it?
Of course, always.
So,
all right,
yeah.
Joe, how about what's your midfield saying?
For me, for my defensive midfielder, I went for Douglas Luiz. He's really impressed me this season for Villa. Haven't watched Villa that much. I'll be the first to say it. But whenever I watched him, he's seemed good. Him and Kamara as that sort of double pivot. Yeah, they just look really calm. He's obviously gets a decent amount of goals. I know he takes penalties, I'm pretty sure. Occasionally, him and Watkins. I don't know how often they switch. So don't shoot me, Villa fans. But yeah, that's who I've gone for. KDB in centre mid. I don't really know if there's another man to pick. Arguably top 3 players in the world, maybe the best. There's an argument we can have about that. But he was out injured for most of the season, came back, and he's hit the ground running where he left off last season. So, and for my attacking midfield, I've gone for Cole Palmer. Chelsea not having a good season, but if there's one shining light in that team, you know who it is. Cole Palmer. Like last video we talked about João Pedro and penalties. Palmer, I know he does get a lot of penalty goals, but still, he's link-up play, and he just sort of... It's funny to say that where would Chelsea be without him, because obviously they're 11th, they still have him, but I think that team would have absolutely fallen apart a long, long time ago if they didn't have him. So yeah, that's my midfield. Got any thoughts on that, lads?
No, I agree with that. I think Douglas Luiz is a very good shout. He's playing out of his skin for Villa this season. they signed the likes of Yuri Tielemans and Kamara, and I thought, right, that's their midfield sorted then, without really giving Luiz a look in. But I think he's been excellent, as you said. He's great on set pieces. He's great creatively. He showed that against Sheffield United, who don't get us wrong, are poor defensively, but still, it takes some skill to play as creatively as that. Kevin De Bruyne, it's rather self-explanatory, really. And then Cole Palmer, yeah, like you said, he's really kept Chelsea beaten this season.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's very balanced though. Like with two creative outlets, and
I think
both of them
KDB
are,
can
the best
do
at
that
defending.
role.
All it takes is like a player like a Maddison or an Odegaard, and that's that midfield done.
The only thing I have with it is I don't know how much Douglas Luiz sits in that sort of two. I can see where you're coming from if they get caught out a bit, but I think KDB could do that role, sort of just edge of the box, just pinging balls in with Palmer. But
First.
Is what it is. And Lewis, go on, your midfield. Let's hear it.
So my defensive midfielder, similar to the last video that we did, I've gone with Edson Alvarez of West Ham. Like I said, the bloke's he's just a unit. He's arguably been, you look at West Ham stars of Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, but he's definitely been up there as West Ham's best player this season. I think many West Ham fans would probably agree. He had a bit of a slow start, but recently he's just been levels. He's shown just what a good defensive midfielder is. I also had an honourable mention of João Palhinha of Fulham. Excellent. Touted with a move to Bayern Munich in the summer, but it didn't happen. But obviously I've got Robinson in there, which is why that didn't happen. For my centre midfielder, I've gone with the Lord and Saviour himself, Bruno Guimaraes. He was without a shadow of a doubt Newcastle's most talented player, and in my lifetime, arguably, probably is the best midfielder I've ever seen at Newcastle, with Johan Cabaye coming close behind. The streets won't forget. But yeah, Bruno is just the epitome of a complete midfielder. He can play in the six and dictate the play. He can play in that box-to-box role, which is where I've got him for the sake of this team. But he can also play as that creative number 10. So I think it is rather self-explanatory. He has really revolutionised Newcastle's midfield. And then for my attacking midfielder, I've gone with the second best Bruno in the league, Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United. I know he's a crybaby. He's an annoying person. He's just he is literally Kermit the Frog. But a player with 47 goals and 38 assists and 146 appearances in the Premier League, it doesn't go unnoticed at the end of the day. And you can't deny, as much as many fans hate him, you still can't deny, as a genuine football fan, what a good footballer he is. So once again, I think my midfield speaks for itself. So I'll ask for your thoughts.
Yeah, I like the Alvarez shout. I sort of as I said with West Ham, my two shouts were going to be Ward-Prowse and Kudus, and I think I overlooked him a bit. Yeah, been very good since coming from.
Yeah, no. When I was looking at West Ham, he was a thought of mine. I still think I got the best midfield here, but that's a conversation.
We could talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
I do. Bruno G, man, he's a feisty one. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's something that.
I like it.
He's got that ability, but he's also, when you look at a player, you want that passion and that grit. He's got it all, man. He's one of those players as well.
He's got that passion for that FIFA celebration, God.
When he went to Newcastle, I was a bit like, he's one of those people where I thought he would go to a top club, and he sort of went for obviously not Newcastle right now, as well last season were a top club in terms of top four, but it was sort of that move where you go, because they were still in relegation when he went, it's like, are they going to do well, are they going to do bad? And he came out of it good, and yeah, I've got no complaints about that midfield. I think it's quite balanced, more balanced than mine, I'll tell you that, but no complaints.
Well,
go on, Casey.
I guess I'll go on to my attack. Left wing, I've got Anthony Gordon. I'm quite a fan of him. I just like he's not like a pass back merchant like a lot of wingers in the league nowadays. I like how he does. He's not afraid to take on his man. He's got good pace, and I think this Eddie Howe's really getting the best out of it. But if you look at his goal contributions before the season, he's nowhere near how good he's having how much he's having a great season for Newcastle, and I think he was very much warranted a move up. I just think he's a good winger. And then my striker, I've gone with Watkins, obviously of Aston Villa, a fantastic striker. Probably will be the man behind Kane. Has got 10 goals and 10 assists, I believe, so far this season, which is insane. And he's just looks so good in an Aston Villa shirt, and I just like him. He's a proper class centre forward. And my right wing is Elise, and it actually pains me because this Crystal Palace team, and if you look at the players like Gahey, Anderson, Elise, and Eze, like you think like, this team will be fine. But the fact that like they've had a manager like that, it pains me because imagine Elise and Eze under like a Graham Potter or something like that. Like Elise is just unbelievable. He's such a good watch. Same with Eze, and yeah, it was between those two, but I've just edged it to Elise because I just think recently since he's come back, he's been unbelievable. It's just unfortunate he's been injured. So, what you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I would like to just ask you to rethink the words that you've just said. You've just edged to Elise. But yeah, so we'll just pause there. But no, I think that is very valid. Elise is an excellent shout. He is by far Crystal Palace's best player, like head and shoulders above everybody else.
It's close between him and Eze. I wouldn't say by far.
And I think Eze, I rate Eze, but I think Elise is just by far.
I agree.
He's excellent. Yeah, I think Elise is head and shoulders above. I also, obviously, as a Newcastle fan, I do like the Anthony Gordon shout. What he's done this season for Newcastle has been nothing short of remarkable. I think the amount of injuries Newcastle have had, the fact that he's been able to stay fit throughout all of it and really play out of his skin for week in, week out without, being tired, without giving in. The passion he's got is excellent. So I agree with that attack. I will give you that fully.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright, nice.
Because we're doing best players, I don't think I really ever have a complaint about the ability. But if we're talking on players I like, Elise, I mean, you see when I talk about mine, I have him in as well. I think he's, been injured, but every time he's came back after the long one, started doing well, got injured again, came back. What was it? Was it a goal and 2 assists? I'm pretty sure him and Eze in that game, linking up. Yeah, they're just Watkins. I mean, Watkins sort of player that's gone under the radar season after season. I was looking.
I think he's got 10 goals or 11 goals, 10 assists. Like that is just unbelievable.
I sort of thought of him as like, he sort of popped out. I know, but he's been putting away numbers for quite a while now, just sort of under the radar-ish. And yeah, Anthony Gordon, talked about him last time. Yeah, he's I've got no complaints. That's a solid attack.
All right, Joe, what's your attack saying?
Well, obviously on the right, got Elise, as I quite literally just said. Still, even with the injuries, he still comes back and proves everyone wrong over and over again. I think Palace, without him and Eze, and maybe the 2 centre halves, I think they're 19th, 18th. Let's be honest, they're even close to that with them. So yeah, on the left, I've got Pedro Neto, who's someone last season everyone was saying, he's going to have a really, really good season, and he didn't really seem to reach the heights. And this season, he's just him and Cunha. Because Wolves were a team where I didn't think they were going to do that well this season, and I think him and Cunha and a couple others like Hwang Chan, three, they've just propelled them up the table, haven't they? They're 10th now. Probably not going to push for Europe, but I think they can sort of hold that, pushing for top half.
Yeah, same.
And up front at striker, I've got Dominic Solanke, who, again, he surprised me this season. I really like him. For me, opinion-wise, I'd love him at Tottenham. I know Richarlison's doing quite well, but he's someone I'd really like at my club. Those strikers, like Tony, when they're doing well at a sort of not a very top side, but they're still putting away crazy numbers, they don't go unnoticed, do they? You can tell in the Bournemouth team, he's not carrying them through it because they still got other good players, but he's definitely the shining light. Same with sort of someone like Palmer, who's in my team as well. So yeah, that's my attack. I don't know if you guys have any doubts about it.
Yeah, no, I don't really have many doubts.
Yeah,
I like Neto shout. Definitely.
Yeah,
to be fair, I don't really think there's much to say. You've summed up what I would really agree with, to be fair. So I'm not just going to repeat what the words you've just said. So I'll give you that.
Yeah, well then, Lewis, if you have no complaints, let's.
Right. So my right winger is Mohamed Salah. I know you both went straight away with the Liverpool players of Alisson, which is totally understandable. He is by far the best goalkeeper in the Premier League. But for me, Mohamed Salah is the greatest African of all time, and he is arguably one of the greatest Premier League players of all time. The numbers he's been producing season after season is, you cannot take away greatness like that. You can't overlook it. 153 goals and 67 assists in the Premier League and 250 appearances. Like, that's just mental. You spout on about your Eden Hazards, Cristiano Ronaldos, who are excellent world-class Premier League wingers. But Salah, for me, he's up there with the likes of Henry in the Premier League. He's phenomenal. I think the numbers speak for themselves. For my left winger, I've also gone with Pedro Neto. He's that one Wolves player who stands out more than anybody else. Don't get us wrong, Cunha. I think Cunha is an excellent player, but for me, it's always been Neto is their best player. And I think 8 assists in the Premier League this season, and he's been injured for a good chunk of it. That's phenomenal. He's also a really exciting player to watch. Like Casey said with Anthony Gordon, most wingers now in the Premier League, they get to the edge of the box and it's like, oh, I'm going to turn around and give it to my fullback. Whereas Neto, similar to Gordon, just wants to run at players and beat them, and you get that exciting. There's that sort of that buzz when he's on the ball. You think, oh, something's going to happen every time. And then, for my striker, you'll have noticed I haven't gone for a Man City player yet, and that's because it's Erling Haaland. It was very close. I could have put De Bruyne in there easily, because De Bruyne is probably arguably again the best creative midfielder of all time. But Haaland, what was it, 35, 36 goals in his first Premier League season? I mean, come on. It speaks for itself again. 35, 36 goals in your debut Premier League season. He's still young. He is made for the Premier League. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic. He's a proper old-fashioned striker as well. Give him the ball anywhere in that box and he will finish it. He might not have the qualities of a Harry Kane who can drop into that sort of false nine and link up the play and create as well as attack. But he is just a proper old-fashioned striker, and I think he suits Pep's system perfectly. There was a lot of doubt when they signed him, saying, but Pep's never really used an out-and-out striker. He's always had De Bruyne or Foden playing as that highest sort of player. But to be able to accompany Haaland in that system, it's just showing how well he's done. So, I'll ask for your thoughts on that, but I don't think there's much to be argued, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that you've maybe not gone weaker in other positions, but you definitely have kept your best till last. I've got no complaints.
Yeah.
I will have to bite my lip.
I don't know. I like
Salah statements, but
if we look at it as like a football way, I feel like having Salah and Haaland on the same team is like a bit too much. They're both quite like me players. They want all of the shine, and I just feel like they might get in each other's way. But obviously on paper, that is an unbelievable run through. But I don't know if logistically it would work too much.
Yeah, well, logistically that is probably correct, but as you said, I was pretty much just picking names on paper. If we were to do the best players of all time, I would definitely have a Ronaldo, Messi, Suarez combination, something like that, because they might not work well together, but I'm just picking names on paper, and for that reason I think Salah and Haaland have to be in the same team, as well as Bruno Fernandes. I think in a system, Bruno Fernandes, Salah and Haaland certainly wouldn't work together. Yeah. But on paper, I think it is excellent.
Oh yeah, you're just picking best players, aren't you? Trying to balance that out. That's the whole point of the video, isn't it? So, I don't know.
Nah,
don't know who has the best team.
My team's beautiful because it works. I think I would play an attacking system because we've got quite attacking fullbacks. I think you got a couple with Saliba and Van de Ven. I think the midfield is very balanced because you've got Rodri dictating the play whilst Ward-Prowse is a little bit ahead. He can maybe work his magic a little bit more with Cunha. He's quite a full slice. You got goals even in the midfield, and the front three are just all guns blazing. That team would push for top four, and maybe even get top four, I reckon.
Yeah, well, your team might push for top four. I'm winning the league. I'm winning the league out here.
I think I'm winning the league as well.
Not with that midfield, mate. Not with that midfield.
Look, you know what they say, eh? You may I may concede a lot, but I'm gonna outscore the teams I'm playing against. I'll be winning every game 5-4, so it doesn't make a difference.
And style.
I'll put the points on the board. But I don't know. That's the teams, I guess.
Well, I've got to ask you. You said you would bite your lip on some of the Salah comments, but I would like you to actually. I want to debate this. What did you disagree with?
System player, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, if
he's
definitely the best.
Right. Okay.
He's definitely the best African player of all time.
Okay.
Right.
How I see Salah, right, is obviously his goals and assists, his output's a joke, but on the eye, for me, I don't think he's near the top for Premier League. He's top 10, top 20, whatever, but I don't know if he's upper echelon because like I don't know, just cut in. Like he has his moments, but like most of the time it's just sort of cut in, shoot, cut in, shoot, cut and shoot. Like I'm not arguing. You know, if you're talking about output, he's probably the best. Maybe I don't really know about everyone else's output, but for me, in the time I've been watching the Premier League, he's been the best in terms of output. But for actual ability that I've watched, I don't know. That's just my take on it. I can't really explain it.
My argument to that is, and don't get me wrong, I do not mean to say they're anywhere near the same level because they're not. But take Messi for example, the best player of all time. His role in that prime Barcelona team, you know, he didn't graph very much off the ball. You would see him just walking around when he wasn't on the ball, and he wasn't consistently in the game. But give him that ball in a certain position, and you can expect a moment of brilliance. And for me, that is the same with Salah. Don't get us wrong, Messi can go and take on the whole team and stick the ball in the back of the net. For example, that Bilbao goal that somehow didn't win the Puskas Award that year. But I don't know, with Salah, I think he can be having a quiet game and then all of a sudden, bang, 1-0 up, or bang, good ball in behind, 2-0. You know, he gives you that. Like you said, I agree. He's sometimes not the best player to watch on the ball, and as you said, sometimes he might not offer you much throughout the whole game. But I just think, give him a moment, give him a chance, and he will take it, and you know, score assists as he starts.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
yeah, you can't really. I can't really argue against him being in the best Premier League 11, but that's just sort of my thoughts on it. Well, everyone, we've heard everyone's 11s. You know, I think all round, I think they've been quite good. You know, my midfield maybe could have been a bit more balanced. Obviously, Casey believes he's got the best out of us three. Maybe who would have thought that? But
100%.
What a surprise!
yeah, what a surprise. But anyway, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. You know, I
Yep.
hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about this today. And in a bit, see you next video.
Yeah, bye everyone.